All right,
I
well,
feel like I'm in the wrong class, Carol.
no, like you had to, well, Francine sent it to me and she got it. All right, I will just make believe you're in the CIA and you have to decipher code. That's what it was, it's like code. And you're looking at me as, okay, she's nuts.
We were supposed to send you the answer because I got it, but I didn't send it.
That's okay. So Francine sent it and she got them all right. So the first one, let's do the matching. All right. So if I say the root, tell me what it is. The first one was Kodesh.
Holy.
Okay, holy. And the next one is Melech.
King.
Right. And here it was, right, king. Or anything to do, or any extrapolation, you know, to change vowels like kingdom, kingship, like that. He will rule. Okay, Gadol.
Great.
Very good.
Oh,
Great. Gadol. Yes?
oh, is big, great.
Great or big. Yeah, in the prayers they use it as big or great. Okay. Omer, Amar.
Say.
Say,
Right, because all over in the Torah it's Vayomer Adonai El Moshe and Vayomer Moshe El Adonai. God said to Moses, Moses said to God, Vayomer, and he said. Okay, Hallel.
Praise.
Right, and you know that from the Hallel service. You could have guessed that. Tzedek.
is righteousness.
Right, like from Tzedakah. Osei.
Make.
Make,
Right, like Osei Shalom Bimromav, make peace around us. Ohev or Ahav,
to love.
love, like V'ahavta.
Well, love it,
Love,
love,
right?
yeah.
Love, Ohev. Okay. Kavod,
Honor,
Honor, respect.
Honor and respect.
right, and when you say to someone when they did something nice in the synagogue and they did, you know, prayer well or reading, kol hakavod, all honor to you, kol hakavod, you've heard that term before, but you heard it now. Chesed.
Compassion.
Right,
Compassion.
ein v'chesed v'rachamim, yeah, chesed. And we talked about the chasidim, they're supposed to be the faithful ones or the compassionate ones. Okay, all right, now here is the harder part. Let's see, the harder part. All right, so Diane, you said you got the secret message and then we'll tell everybody how you figured it out. Okay, what does it say?
So I was trying to sharpen my pencil, but it's not working. It said, well, I sent you that email. At first I thought it said something about a yam.
I know. Popeye,
got
I
it.
am what I am.
I got it's I am.
I am.
I am happy to be your Hebrew teacher. You
Mhm.
are progressing very well. Congrats.
Okay, so what I did was I just gave you Hebrew words and vowels. I didn't put all the vowels in that you're used to under all the letters. So the first is I. So you see an aleph which has no sound. So you have to figure out you have to kind of like put the vowels in, try them out. That's how you do a code. You try it out. So that would be like I. If I had a patach, straight across, that would be I. We know that a patach and a yud is I. That would be I. And then we see again another silent letter. So you're going to try a vowel, am. Could have been M or but it's am because you're trying to make sense in English. I am. And then you have ha, and then you have p, then you have p, happy, that's okay. Then a tet and a vav, two.
to,
Okay, the vav with the dot in the middle is ooh, my stomach, two, I am happy too. And then you have a bet and a yud, b,
be,
and then a yud, a vav, and a resh. So the vav could be o or u, your. Okay, you have to just try different things. Your, and then the hey, bet, resh, vav, Hebrew. That one is almost said for you. And then this was a hard one, teacher, because you don't have a ch in Hebrew. So I put teet, teacher. That's as close as I could get, teacher. And then it said yud and a vav, you. And then R. Now a pay, progressing. And a vav, a resh, and a yud, very. Now, there's no W, so a W, you have to do it like with a vav, well, and then you have to say, okay, you are progressing very well. What makes sense in English? You have to fill in the blanks. And then I wrote congrats. What do you say, Charlene? Did you get it?
Yes.
The whole thing? Well, you know my mind. You know, you've done this before, right?
Yeah, but I had a little help from a friend. I couldn't figure out a word or two and somebody helped me, so.
Good. All right, so that's it. I'll have to send you another one, so give you another shot. Okay, so now we're gonna have some fun. Some of you said, I think it was Janice, she's still a little iffy on the Hebrew alphabet. So I dug out my tape recorder and my old Debbie Friedman tape, which is real old. It's a tape, and it's the alphabet song. So what I want you to do is take this one out, the sheet with the alphabet, and before we listen to it, get a pen or pencil, and I want you, let's go over the Sofit letters. The final letters are not in the song. They don't.
Do we have a handout, Carol?
I
Is
did.
there a handout?
I did. I sent it. Said the
You sent it,
alphabet in
you
the
sent
last.
it when?
I sent a couple of things. I sent a
Oh,
couple.
it was there. It was there.
Yeah,
I got it.
I sent like about 3 or 4 things. It was the
Janice, we
Okay,
have an olive bed from our previous class. Do you have any of
Okay.
those?
Have any-
No, I
olive-
found the email.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
so
found
any,
the email.
all right. So I want you to just take a moment and let's look at the Sofit. So's your own feet. Let's look at the final letters because you're not going to hear them. So your eye is going to skip over them because there's a point where you're going to sing along with the tape. She's great. I mean, she was a fabulous singer. I loved her. All right. So we have Aleph, Bet, Vet. So the ones with the dagesh, with the dot, and without, they're going to be. Elizabeth, how are you? What's going on?
Doing well. Hi.
If you can't heard, Elizabeth was in a crash.
Oh, no.
Find a
Oh,
woman.
goodness.
No,
So just made it out of my appointment with the doctor's office. Thank you.
But what did they say? You're going to be all right? You have anything broken or?
Yeah, no, nothing's broken.
Thank God.
I'm in class. Yeah, everything's going well. Yeah.
Now, I hope they find that person. You said it was hit and run?
Yes, somebody driving
Oh,
a rental
God.
car, so they took off as quickly as possible. I didn't get any information from them.
When she returns the car, maybe
Right.
the
Well,
police should investigate some of the rental agencies that have returns today.
Yes,
Inspector Clouseau speaking.
I
And
hopefully,
then if they have a smacked up front, because if she rear-ended you, she's gonna have to pay heavy duty on that
I
car.
hope we get her. That's the key. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
Thank
you have your Aleph Bet. That's so good to see your smiling face. I was really
Thank
upset when I
you.
saw you. Boy, oh boy.
Oh,
All right, so
thank
we're looking at the Aleph Bet. So Aleph Bet, Vet, the ones with the dot, Vet is there. Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion. Everything on the first line is good. It will be in the song. The second line, Chet, Tet, Yud, and it even shows you how to pronounce them. Kaf and Chaf, Kaf with the dot, Chaf without, that's in the song. Final Chaf, you can circle that because that's not in this song. That's a final letter. Lamed is there, Mem, circle final Mem, that's not in the song. Nun, final Nun, circle. Samech, Ayin, Pei and Fei are there, Pei with the dot, Pei with the point. And Fei without. Final Fei is not in the song. Tzadi is, final Tzadi is not. Kuf, Resh, shin is, sin, one has a dot on the right, one the dot on the left. Okay, remember, it's no sin to have a dot on the left. The tav, and it's only tav. You're not going to hear tav, sav, it's just tav. Okay, in modern Hebrew, they don't say Shabbos, they say Shabbat, even though it's spelled with a tav. Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Louder.
While we're here, some fun and sing the Hebrew alphabet, a song for everyone. It's going to be quite simple, 'cause all you'll have to do is sing the letters after us, then we'll sing after you.
Aleph, bet, bet, Aleph, bet, bet, Gimel, Dalet, hey, you gotta sing. Vav, Zayin, Tet, Tet, Yud, Tav, Vav, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Pei, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Sin, Sin, Tav, Dav, Dav.
Let's learn the alphabet. Simple as it can be. You'll learn the alphabet if you sing the letters after me. Each letter has a name and a sound that it always makes. Now let's sing a special chorus. We'll have fun, it will not bore us. It's the alphabet. Alphabet.
Aleph, bet, bet, come on, I wanna hear you. Gimel, Dalet, hey, Vav, Zayin, Tet, Tet, Yud, Tav, Vav, Lamed, Mem. Elizabeth, you're not on, you're muted. Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Sin, Sin, Tav.
Let's try it once again. Practice the alphabet.
Come on, Janice, this is for you.
I can't hear the music.
Can't hear it?
No. Sing out loud, let us hear your voice. We will hear you getting better as you sing each Hebrew. It's the alphabet you started.
Aleph, bet, bet,
Gimel, Dalet,
Vav, Zayin, Tet, Tet, Yud, Tav, Vav, Lamed, Mem, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Sin, Sin, Tav.
Each letter has a name and a sound it always makes. Together
I'm having real problems with the sound.
the alphabet. Wonderful.
Carol?
Okay, I love that song.
I learned my alphabet.
I love it. And so when I forget, if I'm looking something up in the dictionary, I think it's great. Okay, so you got to practice. It's probably in YouTube. You can probably get it online and get your alphabet sheets out and you can practice. And that's the only way to do it. It's like kids learn in kindergarten, right? Again and again and again. And the song, it's always best. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is in with every time I like to do some pronunciation, just some phonics. So the other sheet I sent you, this one actually came from your Shalom Aleichem book. And I think it was a good page because it has a lot of prayer words that you know. And I thought that was a good reading page for practice. At the top of the page, they have letters that look alike. And that's why people get confused. So the first one is a chet that has a ch sound. And next to it is a chav.
Excuse
And a
me, Carol,
final-
what page are you on in the Lincoln book?
Oh,
I didn't print it out. I have the book.
65.
Thank you.
Yeah, 65. So you have a chet and a chav and a final chav as in Baruch. So there's 3 letters with a ch sound, right? Chet, chav, final chav, or chav sofit, if you want to get technical. Then you have a kaf, and a samech. And they're both sort of round. So they figure you might be confused with the chaf, the kaf, and the samech. Anyway, so they have some words to pronounce. The first line, and you're going to, as you say these words, you're going to say, I've heard these words before, because that's Galenkin's method. He uses words that are in prayers that you've already learned previously in his book. Now, if you've never taken the beginning Hebrew, you don't know what I'm talking about. The beginning Hebrew book by Rabbi Noah Galenkin doesn't start with the whole alphabet. He starts with the letters and vowels necessary to learn the song Shalom Aleichem, to get you started for Friday night. Shalom Aleichem. And he presents, so that's a kind of a revolutionary way of teaching Hebrew. Instead of starting with Aleph, Bet, Bet, he is aiming, his prayer goal is to get you to read Shalom Aleichem and sing it. And so as you're taking a look, you say, wow, I have the vowels and I have the letters. And then in a few lessons, you can read the whole of Shalom Aleichem. And I thought that was brilliant. At first, I thought the book was going to be boring. Then I looked, I said, this guy's got a very, very interesting pedagogy. So the first line, can anyone read it? Anyone want to try to read it? And as you look at it, there are words that you probably know. And some of them are from, okay, Diane.
I'm gonna have to take my glasses off to see. Bechefso v'acharei echad lahach v'ra.
Right, and you've heard those words before. V'chefzo kol, you've heard that. V'acharei echad lahach v'ra. Okay, a lot of these are from Adon Olam. Okay, what about this second line? Somebody want to try it? Do we have any eager volunteers? Elizabeth, you're on.
Okay. V'chai, hevli, ruchi, ruchi.
Excellent. Okay,
Sure.
so there's that chet, the chai, like in Chaim, right? The Chaim, that's the chet. Very good. Anyone want to try the third line? Dorothy, would you like to shoot it?
Yeah, sure. Malach, Melech, Yimloch, Kichlot, Hachlit.
Tachlit, very good. So Malach and Melech, we just saw the root had to do with something to do with the king. Malach means he ruled, and Melech is the noun, a king. Yimloch is the future, he will rule. Okay, and Malchut is a kingdom, which is not here. So Hebrew, the way, when you're learning Hebrew, you learn that the root is the important thing for the meaning. When you change the vowels, but keep the root letters in their 1, 2, 3 order, and you put a prefix and a suffix like yimloch. When you have a yud in the beginning, it shows the future tense. So that means he will rule. And that's the way Hebrew is constructed. It's not constructed like English. Okay. Okay, so how about the fourth line? Nancy, you want to try the fourth line?
Sure. Kol, kol, hakol, no say,
Kosi.
no see. I knew that. No see. Right.
Kosi, that's
Oh, I'm sorry. Chosi. Right.
okay.
Chos.
Cup, kosi. Okay, kos is a cup.
Yeah.
Kosi is my cup. Minat kosi b'yom ekra, he fills my cup on the day I call. Hello, my cup of blessings. Minat kosi b'yom ekra. So when you start to understand some of the words, all of a sudden these prayers will pop out at you and you'll say, oh my goodness, I understand what it's about. You'll pick up phrases and you'll pick up words and you'll say, oh, I got this word. And then as you get more learned, you'll fill in the blanks. And that's what happened to me. It's a slow process. And sometimes I see a root I know, but I'm not quite sure. I look it up. Oh, yes, I could have figured it out. Okay. And the last one there, Janice, want to try it?
Nisi, Umanos.
Good.
Tosi.
Great, great. All right, now they're telling you that these words are from Adon Olam. So we're not going to go over the meaning so much of the matching ideas. I don't want to get into that. But let's take a look at the rhymes. So the first one is Nivra. What's the second one? Anybody? You see, it ends the same.
Nikra.
Nikra, right? Nivra and Nikra, just like Dr. Seuss, cat in the hat, bat, hat, rat, okay? The end rhyme is what they're looking at. So Nivra and Nikra. And the third word, that's a nun, the first letter.
Nora.
Nora. So Nivra, Nikra, Nora. They all end in a resh and an aleph. Now we have a big word. If the bet is a prefix, so can anyone figure that one out?
Betifara.
Bizifara.
Good, Betifara, Mitsuyan, excellent. How about the one after that? Another big one. And le is also a prefix.
L'chachbira.
Lahachbira. Okay, and the one after lahachbira,
Mishra.
lahamisra. So remember that a lot of these psalms are kind of like poems. And when you read it, so they sound nice because it's like poetry. Okay. Lahamisra. Okay, now we have another one. What's the one with the tzadi?
Dara.
Sarah. And after tzadi,
Ikra.
good. And
Yes.
then the vav is a prefix, so the
Ira.
ira. We have an aleph and an ayin, but the only thing we're saying is the vowels under them, right? The a I ra. And the last one is
Ira.
below ira. I will not be afraid. Below ira. And then the ones to the right are sheni and goali. It's an e ending, and li. Ruchi means my spirit. Ruach is spirit. It also means wind. Ruchi and gaviati. So you have heard a lot of these words. If we really read all of Adon Olam, you'd say, oh yeah, I know those. So we're going to skip the matching ideas because I don't want to spend the time on that today. But I just wanted to remind you that you can test yourselves. What I gave you last week on the Mourner's Kaddish, the part below, that's the phonetics. That's the way, that's the best the English could do. So when people go to a gravesite and they have to say the Mourner's Kaddish, they give them little cards, and the cards have the phonetic transcription. So people who don't know Hebrew, or people who are Christian and are friends of family, have a chance to join in and feel connected, and that they're part of the service, which is, I think, very smart, very nice. So I would like to let's go over that once, the Mourner's Kaddish, since it is a prayer that is important. I don't care if you cheat. I don't care if it's look below, or if you're reading it from the Hebrew. As I said, it's a little harder for me to just look at the transliteration, because they're not words. They're just like sound. But when I look at the Hebrew, I can read it. So you choose what is easy. And we should say it together.
Can you give me a page in Sidur Lev Shalom? I thought I had it.
Let me see. I usually I didn't put it. Okay. Yes, it's on the page. In Lev, which one? Sim Shalom?
No, Lev. Yeah, Lev.
Lev Shalom.
Sidur. Yes.
207. Page 207. Lev
Thank
Shalom.
you.
The red book. Okay. Okay. So I cut and paste. I added the transliteration because I thought that would help you to study at home. Okay. All right. So we'll do it. In my synagogue, when they do the Mourner's Kaddish, they do it very slowly, whether it's the rabbi or the cantor or a lay leader. Everybody does it slowly because this is supposed to be an inclusive prayer. And it's important when you go to a Shiva meeting, you go to someone's house, or you're at the cemetery, okay? Or even if you just want to say it yourself. So we should do it slowly, okay? Let's start together. So that says mourners and those observing you at sight. So if you're in someone's house, that person is going to be saying that. That's that person and their relatives. So let's do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yitz hadal, yitz hadash, shemei rabba, ba'ol di, bara, chirute, v'yamli, malchute, v'chayei, uv'yomeichom, uv'chayei, dechol, beit, Yisrael, ba'agala, bizman, kariv, ve'imru, amen. The next part is everybody says it, the congregation and the mourner. Okay, and we would say together, Yehei, May, Rabba, Mivarach, Le'olam, Ula'olmei, Olmaya. And again, mourner would say, Yitbarach, Tabach, V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Romam, V'yit Naseh, V'yit Hadar, V'yit Aleh, next line, V'yit Halal, Shmei, Kudishah, Barichu, La'ela, skip the parentheses, that's only done on a holiday, Min, Kol, Birchata, Shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Za'amiron, Be'olmor, V'imru, amen. Yehei, Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chaim, Aleinu, V'al kol, Yisrael, V'imru, amen. Oseh shalom, Bimromav, Hu ya'aseh, Shalom, Aleinu, V'al kol, Yisrael, V'imru, amen. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, yes, Denise.
Can you translate into English V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Kadash, the
Yeah,
words
yeah.
that
A
start with that?
Kodesh is, so he will be made, he will be sanctified. It's talking about God. The yud preceding the root is, it's a future tense, and it means he.
Okay,
So it's
Okay.
he, you know, he will be exalted, he will be made great, he will be, you know, all of this, he will be praised. And again, it's a whole string of words that are praise. If you look at the
Yes.
English.
yeah.
Okay? So that's what it's all about. Okay,
thank you.
so who, sure,
Wait.
who remembers what language this prayer is written in? Yes, Nancy?
Well, two things.
Probably.
It's written in Aramaic, but the thing is, I think it's fitting that we're doing this on Veterans Day. I don't know
Veterans
about
Day.
I
anyone
think
else, but
so.
my
I think that's a
father
great,
was a veteran.
a wonderful point. I did, I was teaching my English classes yesterday in the morning and in the evening in the Pobosi's and at the library, and I did a whole lesson on Veterans Day. I gave them a crossword, I gave them a fact sheet. We talked about the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, the armistice was signed. And I asked them where, and then I said, now I want you to make believe you were in, these are immigrants, right? A lot of them didn't graduate high school. I said, now I want you to make believe you're in a 12th grade honors literature class. I thought that mine was going to explode. And then I said, and now I'm going to teach you about the mechanics of poetry. We're going to read a poem that is the most famous poem associated with World War I. Anybody know what it is?
Flanders Field.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row. And I went into rhyme, rhythm, figurative language, symbolism, and I had them reading it. We read it a few times. I said that was our pronunciation lesson for the day. And we went over the vocabulary. And I think that I gave them all a headache, but by the end of the day, I think they got it. So I asked them the question, who is narrating this poem? I said, it's really very weird. Who says the poem? Because the week before we talked about a little boy raking and then jumping in a pile of leaves. And I said, the voice in that poem was a young boy or a young girl raking and said, oh, forget about this. I rake and the leaves come down, and then just made a big pile and jumped in them. I said, that was a child's voice. So I said, who is speaking here? Anybody know this poem?
Yeah. Yeah, the dead soldier.
The dead soldiers. And at the end, they say, we pass the torch to you. And if you don't go ahead with it, in other words, we died before peace. We died on the field of battle in Flanders, in Belgium, on the coast of Belgium. And that's what all the crosses are. They're marking that's where they were buried. They weren't buried in a real graveyard with stone thing. They have just a wooden, whatever marker. And so they say, we toss the torch to you. And if you don't go ahead and fight and continue with bravery, our spirits will not be resting. Our spirits we will not lie in peace. Because I said, you know, when you always say to rest in peace, descansa en paz, I told him in Spanish. And I said, it's a little creepy. And dead people are speaking, but I said, it is also very effective.
Very
And when I
moving
said-
to me.
Very moving. Apparently he was colonel, he was Canadian, and he was a doctor. And he was presiding at the funeral of his friend, fellow soldier who died. And I guess he wrote the poem after, you know, thinking about everything and how horrible war is. Anyway, they got the point, but I think I really blew their brains apart. I don't think, if they have not gone to high school, I think this is something like very brand new.
Yeah.
And I had him counting out the beats, da, 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 da. It was 4 beats to the line. And, you know, anyway, we had some fun. Now, the words Aleinu are in, that's it, here's my segue, are in the Mourner's Kaddish.
Right.
So I have some questions for you about this. So, first of all, there seems to be a message in Aleinu. Al, ayin lamed means upon or on. Okay, on. Anachnu is the Hebrew word for us. If you take the al and the nu, aleinu means it is upon us. It is our responsibility. So the question is, and it states here, some of it's a little aggravating because it's not exactly politically correct. But we'll see what it said. So it's for us to do certain things as Jews. Now, if we take a look at the beginning lines, it says, Aleinu, it is for us, L'shabeach, to praise, La Adon. Who is Adon? What is Adon?
Master.
Master, right? Lord, master, like Adon Olam. Hakol, the master of everything, God. It is our duty as Jews to praise the master of everything. Aleinu, L'shabeach, La Adon Hakol. And then it says, and we know from Ashrei, this is a common thing. The first part of the line is echoed in the second part. Same idea. Because then it says, Latet, to give. Gedula, and we know Gadol, you just told me it means great or big. Ascribe greatness, to give greatness. Liyotzer, to the creator. Bereshit, of everything. Bereshit, everything. Of the beginning of the world, creator of the beginning, Bereshit. Okay, Rosh, like Rosh Hashanah, Rosh is the head or the top, the beginning. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotze Bereshit. Then the next line says, Shelo, who didn't, lo is no, Cain is yes, lo, who didn't, Shelo, asanu. You have osei, means made, new, us, who did not make us, kigoye. Now, here's a sticking point. Those people who are Yiddish speakers, and I can speak some Yiddish, and I remember from my childhood, it was not a nice word to talk about the goyim. The goyim, anyone know what the word goyim means?
Non-Jew.
Non-Jews, but it was not translated that emotionally. Goyim
No,
meant
derogatory.
the others, like not us, the goyim. Okay, so anyone who's a convert is not going to be happy with that, but that's what it says, who didn't make us, but really, and Yiddish speakers didn't use it in this sense, goy, lo yisa goy el goy chereb, goy means nation. The original meaning, that's why you need to learn Hebrew and the original meanings of things, because it was changed with Yiddish speakers who had been pursued by anti-Semites in their own countries, in Poland and Russia and in the European countries. So that's why they protected themselves, like, we'll stay amongst ourselves and leave us alone, you can understand that. But that's Yiddish, this is Hebrew. Shelo asanu kugoye, who did not make us like the nations of ha'aratzot. Eretz is land. So we are praising God for not making us like the nations of other countries, like the peoples of other countries. Vilo samanu, and didn't make us like mishpachot. What is a mishpacha? Mishpacha.
Family.
And didn't make us like the families, ha'adama, of the land, of the earth. So what do you think the message is here? I mean, the very beginning, we sing this, we don't even think about what we're saying, but this is a message. I think, what is it? Well, what do you think it's saying? It's thanking God for not making us.
Ecological, that we should take care of the earth.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about the earth, we're talking about the peoples and their beliefs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're thanking God who made us different.
Yeah.
Thank you, God, for not making us like the nations of around the world, making us Jewish. Okay, if this is true, that says one of the messages of this prayer is we are different, then what is our task? What is this? I mean, this prayer has a lot of questions in it, It rubs people the wrong way if they really understand it. So what is the task as Jews? It goes on, and it talks about us redeeming the rest of the world who are idol worshipers, and we'll all believe in the same God. Now, anyone who's Christian, anyone who's Muslims, and I have friends who are Muslims, anybody who's Hindu, anyone who's any other religion would take umbrage at that. Because we are saying here in this prayer, we want to make everybody to believe our beliefs. We want to redeem them as if something's wrong with them. Okay. So there is a line in the Lev Shalem, which I wanted to read to you. So so a lot of people, we sing it, it's a nice melody, we sing it. That's why I feel it's really important as you get more involved in your Hebrew studies to really try to understand what the words really say and think about it. I mean, this is sort of like a negative thing. And the cantor on Yom Kippur, he comes down, Aleinu, da, 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 and he comes in the white robes right down the center of the synagogue, and he kneels down like the priest. Okay, this one says, some people bridle at the exclusive affirmation of the people Israel's faith and have substituted other phrases. This is true. For instance, the Israeli Masorti movement, Masorti is conservative, offers as an alternative, it's interesting that it would come from Israel, the verse from the prophet Micah, and this is it. For the people of every nation shall walk in the name of their God, small g, but we shall walk in the name of Adonai, our God, forever. Okay, that's the out clause. Okay, that is like the escape clause here, because otherwise it sounds like that we want to go after people and change their religion, which we are not. We don't go door to door. We don't proselytize. People have knocked at my door with a watchtower and things, and I say, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I'm an observant Jew. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Once I said to a group of people, would you like to learn about Judaism? I could tell you a lot. You would have gone. So again, Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol. It is upon us to praise the master of everything, to give greatness, to ascribe greatness to the creator of everything, who didn't make us like the nations of on earth, and didn't make us like the families. See, this is the repetition of families on land. And shelo sam chelkenu, chelek is a portion, who didn't make our portion kahim, like them. So didn't make our belief like theirs. We're praising God. We're saying we are glad we're different. And thank you. The goralenu, and our destiny, kechol hamonam, like everybody else. Now that's a pretty strong beginning. So I was thinking about the messages, and I think one is the affirmation of one God, the affirmation of monotheism, definitely. Another main idea is we are different from other people. And then there's a part that we do something strange that we don't do usually. I was in a church, in a Catholic church. It's where I teach. I teach for BOCES. And I went to a friend's daughter's first communion. I'm sitting in a row with the family, we're very close. And then she says to me, you can go up. We're all going up now to get communion. And hamana, like Jackie Gleason. I said, oh, well, I can't go up with you because I was never baptized. Oh, you can, okay, so you can sit there. And then whenever everybody went down, you know, they have these benchers or whatever, you kneel down. I said, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that, you know, kneel when you're praying. I really can't. So they said to me, just lean forward. She said to me, just lean forward in your chair and put your hands on the bench, and everybody will think you're going down. I said, okay, I could do that. I had to fake it a little bit, but I said, there's certain things I won't do because, you know, that's not for me. But in this prayer, you know, like when we do the Amidah, it's a little dance. We go 3 steps back, cha-cha-cha, 3 steps forward, and then we bend our knees, and actually bending and going forward from your waist. We don't go down like Catholics do. We don't go on our knees. but it says, that we bend, we just go down a little bit on our knees, we bend a little bit, but we're actually not on our knees. So it's strange that in Aleinu, we do that. We do it in the Amidah and we do it in Aleinu, right? You ever think about why we do that? That's the only other prayer that I can think of that we bow. That's maybe because this is an identity prayer, maybe. Okay, and then it says we want to redeem the world from idolatry. So then I want to ask you, how are we different from other religions, other people? How are we different? This one says, thank you for not making us. We're different. We are a community, and our community is tight. And when people marry, there's even expression, marrying out. And some people look at that, well, that's like, whoa. But what is being Jewish? What is our mission? It says Aleinu. This is something on us. So what are we supposed to be doing?
I think one of the main points is not only to be different, but to also take pride that you're different. Don't be ashamed.
Yeah, I would
Because
agree.
you're saying thank you for making us different, then you are owning it.
And one of the big things is to keep the commandments. We have in the prayer for wine, in the prayer for washing hands, in the prayer for bread, in the prayer for candles. Okay, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu, who sanctified b'mitzvotav with his commandments. And any rabbi will tell you that that is a central part of Judaism, that we are supposed to follow the commandments, not the negative ones, the positive ones. Okay, now we are supposed to be, as I say, or la goyim, and that means a light to the nations. We are supposed to be an exemplar of good deeds and humane behavior. It's like there's nowhere in the Torah that condones shooting animals, hunting. There are very few Jewish hunters, people who go with shotguns and go killing animals. I mean, that's like, as a matter of fact, just the opposite. There are many commandments, and I found this fascinating in the Torah, that talk about kindness to animals. And it's I haven't said this in a long time. Tsar, okay. The commandment is about Tsar Ba'ale Chayim. It's about the sorrow of living creatures, that we are supposed to intuit, we are supposed to feel the sorrow of creatures and the hardships, and not make it worse for them. So, for example, an observant Jew, when you get up in the morning, especially this is somebody like in Israel who's on a farm, that you're commanded to feed your animals first. It says you can have a drink, you can have a cup of coffee, a drink, but you have to feed the animals first. Can you imagine a cow with its udders full? I know I get up early in the morning to have to go to the bathroom, and you know how it feels when you've got to go to the bathroom and the cow is bursting with the milk. That's the pain. We are supposed to be responsive to the pain of living creatures. So farmers, Jewish farmers, have to go out early, 5 o'clock, and milk their cows. There's another one that says you can't yoke together a stronger animal and a weaker animal, animals of two species, because the weaker one is going to be pulled along by the stronger one. You're going to be strangled. So there's another thing that says, if the mother bird is in the nest, you have to shoo her away before you take the eggs, so that she won't. I mean, this is very deep. Who would think of this, Mishigas? That the mother bird is going to be sad because she's going to be sitting on the eggs, and you're going to take the eggs from her. So there's a lot of things like that. Animals, about how we react to animals and their sorrow and their pain. We're not supposed to cause pain. We're supposed to be kind. Anyway, so yes, I would say that one of the messages is that we are supposed to follow as best we can the commandments. Okay, and that's what being a light to the nations means. Anybody want to add anything else? I mean, I was always impressed by that. Yes, Denise?
Well, my grandson has asked about Judaism and about why we're here. And I said, God put us on this earth because we have to constantly try to make the world a better place. However we can do it, that's our mission. And that's why God put us here. That's how I interpret it. I don't know if that's
If you look at the beginning of Genesis and you read the text, it says that man was put on earth to be like keepers, to take care of the earth. And after it talks about, creation of all the animals and the man, and it says, and man's responsibility is to take care of the earth. That's why Jews should be at the forefront of environmentalism, because that is from the Torah. That's what we're supposed to do. It should be clean air and clean water and taking care of the animals. That's right in the Torah. You go read in Genesis. And another thing I've heard rabbis say is that the land does not belong to us. We are just here for a short time. We're like renters. This doesn't belong to us. We are the superintendents, but we're not the owners. There's some interesting ideas, You read Genesis, you'll see that we have a task, but the task is taking care of everybody, not ruining what we've been given. And that's a pretty heady task. So anyway, okay. And we should read some of this. Okay, then. So you have yeah, you probably all know the melody. Is there any other melody to Aleinu then? Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol. It's towards the end of the service. I think it's right after the morning's Kaddish. Late gedula bereshit shelo asanu kagoye haratzot velo samanu kamishpot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. Here is where we bend our knees. Va'anachnu korim. Korim means we bend. Umishtachavim, and we bow, we bend, we bend our knees and then we bow from the waist forward. Well, we don't go on the floor. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, before the King of Kings, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So you see after the comma, it says before the melech malchei hamlachim, the King of Kings. Melech Malchei, the King of Kings. Then there's a comma, the second part of the line, the Holy One, blessed is He. So we did see that in Ashrei a lot. There's part A of the line and part B. There's a repetition there. And then a lot of people like to go, Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed aretz u'moshav yakaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo Begorhe meromim. Then the U.S. wires have a little funny thing. U Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu epizulato kakatu v'torato v'yadata yom b'shevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim mima'al V'al ha'aretz mitachat ein od. Then the cantor will be silent. And if you can read real fast, you can speed read. And they give you about a minute or two. No more. I am looking at it. And then they're doing that already. And then they go to, there's a box. Go down to the box. You see the box at the bottom of the page. And then they go right to this. Our cantor brings his two little boys up and they say that. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad Ushemo echad. And the last words are, and his name is one. In other words, monotheism for us, buddies. Okay, his name is one. There's no Trinity here. There's just one. Okay, so
One and done.
one and done. Yeah, this is really if you look at the translation in this particular one, it says every knee must bow and worship, they must accept your dominion. I really, the translation is very problematic as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and so we hope in your Adonai our God soon to see your splendor, that you will sweep idolatry away so that false gods will be utterly destroyed, and that you will perfect the world by your sovereignty. I really don't think that that's our intention nowadays. I think that in modernity, the emphasis is on monotheism, a strong Jewish commitment to our beliefs, and a strong Jewish community. And I think that that really is what it means to me. It doesn't mean, we want to go on crusades, make everybody Jewish. All right, anybody ever hear a rabbi do a drash on Aleinu? I mean, it's kind of, it's a little iffy. But some of the words that I wanted you to know, you really should translate. I mean, these words, you should write these in. Aleinu means it is for us. It is for us. L'shabeach, to praise. Okay, so Aleinu it is L'shabeach, to praise. La'adon hakol, the master of all. Adon, like Adon Olam. And then it says latet, that means to give. Gedula, that means greatness. Liotzer, to the creator. Bereshit, of everything. And then the second line says Shelo, who didn't. Asanu, and here comes the meat of it, who didn't make us. Ke goye, remember it means nations. It doesn't mean Christians, like the nations of, now Eretz is land, ha'aratzot, other lands. The low is no, Cain is yes, and didn't. Samanu is like make us, put us. Ke, like mishpachot, the families, right? Mishpacha in Yiddish. Didn't make us like the families. Ha'adama, of the earth. I mean, it's exactly what the translation is. I cannot change it. Shelo Sam, who didn't make our portion. Chelek is also a piece, part of something, like theirs. And Goral means our destiny, and our destiny, like all the rest. Okay, so there is everything in a nutshell. Okay, that's really the whole ball of wax. Next week I will. Okay, so the Thanksgiving weekend we won't have class. You'll probably all be busy with family and friends, and so me too. I'm gonna have my mishpacha, and I will go over the prayer for Israel. But why don't we have a couple of people? We have just 5 minutes. Why don't we have some people read a little bit? Who would like to read the first 3 lines or first 3 lines of a language, or sing them? If you know it better, singing. Be my guest. Anybody want to do it? Slowly practice.
I'll do it.
All right, Nancy. Yay, Nancy.
Aleinu l'shabea la'adon hakol. Latet gedula leotzer
Liotzer.
breshit. Shelo asanu kigoye ha'aratzot. Velo samanu kamish potat. Kamish pohot
Mhm.
ha'adama.
Keep going.
Oh, you said a few, so. Shelo sam chelkenu kachem v'goralenu kechol hamonam.
Yofi. Do you sing this in synagogue?
Yeah, so it's harder to read it. So that's
Yes,
why I
it
read
is.
it slowly. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, yeah,
so I would suggest that if you know the melody, even if you don't know all the words, try to put the melody, or go online and there must be some
right. No, no, no. Yeah.
on YouTube, there must be some rabbi doing this. Now, if you really want to get in trouble, because I'm always making trouble, here's a good way to get in trouble. Ask your ask your local rabbi to explain what Elena means. See what he says. Oh, you might be kicked out of shul. No, just say, I was having a Hebrew class and we had an interesting discussion about Elena and what it means. That's it. And let's see what they say. It's like, put them in the corner. Well, you might get a different interpretation, you know, this might be for the congregation's sake. But I like to kick up a little dust. All right, that was good. You got A+ on that, Nancy.
Oh, thank you. So
Right.
what are we practicing for next week? Are
Okay,
we-
so we're going to go over, we'll read, but like in my shul, the cantor does the singing, we sing along in some of the part. We'll do the prayer for Israel.
Good.
Okay, and we'll go over what it says, because the prayer for Israel, I love the words, it's really beautiful. You know, that kind of gives you the chills, because it really connects you with the Chayalim, with the soldiers, and with just the feeling of being part of the Holy Land. So I would say look at prayer for Israel.
What page
And,
is it on in
the prayer for Israel is right around, I don't think it's right around the Torah. It's right before the Torah.
oh, it's before the Torah.
It's before the Torah service. Yeah. You'll find it. It's before the Torah service.
Okay,
After the Torah.
There it is. I found it in Lev Shalem 178, prayer for the state of Israel.
okay, thank you.
But these words are very nice. This I don't have any problem with, but Elena is a little a little dicey.
Okay.
I have a question about the little box.
The little
Like-
box.
Yeah, when you see the little box at the bottom. and
Yes.
it- So
Yeah.
like I notice when I go to, where we're having services, sometimes my rabbi will just read, he'll go straight to where the little box is and read that line, and then he'll turn the page. And then again, he'll do it again, and he's just reading with the
Okay.
little box, and he'll turn the page. So
All right, I'll
What-
explain it. Especially Friday night. Friday night has like 7 Psalms, and the Psalms are long. So what they sometimes do for for time, they read the first couple of lines and everybody sings along, like on Friday night, you know, whether it's Romamu or Havu Adonai. So they read the first couple of lines and everybody sings along. And then you might go to the next page and go to the box, and that's the part that the rabbi or cantor reads. That's the end of the song. Okay, they don't do the whole thing. They just do the beginning and they do the end. And then they'll go on to the next one to read the first couple of lines, and then he'll wait a few minutes and then go to the end out loud. They'll give you silent time for reading. Now, if you're a speed reader, that's fine. But you know how they look, our
Yeah.
service is 3 hours. I want to show you something. I made a copy of this from my tikkun. I have to read, I've been working on it all week. I have to read this whole thing tomorrow in services. I've been working on it since last week. I
What
think
is
I
it?
have it down. It's
Good
Torah
for
reading.
you.
Oh, you're gonna read the, oh,
Yeah, but it's a big one. It's 21 lines.
Wow.
It's
It is
about, it's almost a whole column.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
So I've been
That's a
working on
lot.
it. It's a lot. Yeah, I've been working on that. So say a little prayer for me that I don't mess it up. I've really been working on it, and it's nice. It's where Sarah is jealous of
Agar.
Ishmael, and she says to Abraham, go expel that Egyptian woman and her son, because he's not sharing their inheritance with my Yitzhak.
Mm.
And then, so she goes out in the desert and then God provides some water for her. And she gives the boy because he looks like he's gonna die, and she gives Ishmael the water, and he's alive. And then God comes to Abraham and says, don't worry, listen to whatever Sarah says, have peace in the tent. But I will make a great nation out of your other son, Ishmael, too. And so it's a kind of a nice story. But it's a lot of Hebrew. It's a lot to remember. So I'll probably be up tomorrow at 5 o'clock going over it again. The services are at 9. I'll probably take 10 minutes to get dressed. Okay, people, it's 2:30.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, and it's 12:30 here.
Shalom.
Oh,
It's
12.
11:30 here.
You'll do great.
I'll do
For
fun,
you,
yes,
Nancy.
so.
Josh or
Yeah.
Carl?
Yeah,
Thank
then
you.
If it went well, next week you can tell me kol hakavod,
Great.
all honor to you, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Carol,
Shabbat
Have a good
shalom.
week, everybody.
Carol,
Bye-bye.
could you just stay on for a second? Because I came on at what I thought was exactly the right time, and I did this first, but you were at the very last of this matching homework. the
Oh,
letter.
yeah, sure, of course.
So I,
Hold on. Yes. Okay, here it is. Okay, the matches.
okay, so is this
Some-
okay if we
some
just take a
of-
minute
some
to
of,
do this?
You have said, I think it was Janice, that she'd like a dictionary. She'd really of the words, that are used a lot in the prayers.
Right.
and stuff. Well, that's a monumental job.
Right,
It's not really something that I will be able to do. Okay, so the first one, Kodesh,
is B, holy, right?
yes. And
Okay.
Melech,
Melech is king.
correct. Gadol,
Adol is great.
yep. Omer,
Omer, say.
yeah, we used to have Shimon Omer, Simon Says competitions in our
Okay.
Hebrew school.
But we always say, oh, Ve'omer, amen. It's like in the Kaddish, isn't there always Ve'omer, amen? And we say, didn't we just do that?
The Imru, Amen.
Imru, oh, okay.
Yeah, the Imru, but
Okay.
it's the same thing.
Right, okay,
And say, that's a command, and say Amen.
okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Hallel,
Hallel, I said,
praise, the
I said
Hallel
praise,
service,
right,
praise.
that's what I
Yeah,
put. Okay,
Hallel, and
praise.
you go to Hallel on the
Okay.
holidays. Tzedek,
Tzedek is a righteousness.
correct. Oseh,
Oseh, make? No, what
yes,
did I?
Oseh
make?
shalom, make
Oh,
peace.
make,
Oseh
Okay,
shalom.
okay.
Ohev,
Ohev is love, it's G. Yeah,
kavod,
love, kavod. It's like, isn't it like holy again?
no,
Or
kavod
no.
is honor.
Honor, okay.
Like when you say kol hakavod, all honor,
Oh,
all
right, okay,
it's like saying great job.
okay.
And Hesed,
Hesed is compassion.
yeah, very
Okay,
good.
okay.
And
I
then
just
you
had it.
got the translation of the deciphering.
I did not, because I was thinking I was doing it in Hebrew. So the only thing that I came up with was on the second line, the last word was Be'al.
Now look at it, do it again.
I thought I was doing it in Hebrew, not in English. That's where I
Okay.
got mixed
Well,
up.
I didn't want to say it. I wanted you to figure it out. I wanted you to try a couple of things to figure it out. Okay, look at it again.
Okay, I will.
And now you'll be able to get the English. Now you're going to say, oh, this is easy.
Well, I still don't get the very first one where you say it's I, when it's just a yud. Oh, you just say I because it's a yud? It's an aleph and a
Well, no, you
yud.
have to try to put
Try
in
all of them,
vowels.
yeah,
Try
right.
it on, it's like,
Okay,
yeah.
but it's English. Okay, all right.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
We're doing
Good
well.
luck tomorrow. Yeah, we're
Thank you.
working on it. Thank you.
Thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay, Shabbat shalom.